Any other use of this telecast, or any pictures, descriptions, or account of the game without Cactus Media X or Arizona Cactus Football League's consent is prohibited.
Welcome back to another episode of the Commiss Picks with me, your host, Matt Archer, the Commiss. In front of me, my good man, Bush Franchise. I always fuck that up.
You do.
James, but I can always call you Bush. That's like
you do every single week.
Every week.
We've been doing this for like 5 or 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Five, dude. I think we're on like seven or eight now.
You're right.
Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. We're back. It's kind of funny. I'm looking at your shirt. We got new shirts this week.
We do, actually.
We did.
You see that? Yeah. Shout out.
Like I said, if you got a team and you drop your shirt, I will wear it.
Shout out to my man Daryl Dobbins.
Yep.
The Phantom shirt.
I don't even know where this came from. It got dropped at the front gate, said this is for Matt, and it got handed to me when I was leaving. So, Team Dom, whoever you are, thanks for the shirt.
Imagine
a world.
Imagine a world that this takes place where that's allowed with Team Dom.
So
interesting. I can't wait until
I'm sure the comments
Sunday
will start popping up. So
just a bunch of surprise faces is all.
Yeah. So Team Dom hashtag little petty Friday night for you guys.
Yeah, petty Friday. Well, wait till petty Sunday next week, and it will be a petty Sunday too. So we'll be able to have fun.
That's right. We're doing our very last season episode of the season the day after the ship, and I think we'll call it Matt's Petty Sunday or Commiss's Petty Sunday.
Wait. Commiss's Petty Sunday.
Petty Sunday.
I like the sound.
You know who we might ask to come in the studio? Might bring Tossie in.
Tossie will be boy.
I think he's already signed on for next year's Petty Sunday.
I mean that would make sense. Get Tossie and D. Will in here. Listen,
or John.
Listen, the top three.
I don't think we have enough mics in here.
Listen, we could figure it out. Tossie, D. Will, and Jade. Imagine the three of them. I don't even need to be a part of it. I'll just come hang out in the studio and let them go.
Just tell me which slide in videos you want to talk about.
Man, exactly.
I'll produce the show.
Transition. We'll transition from slide to slide and just let the three of them come in.
Let those guys go at it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I hope they watch
Fellas,
the show.
What y'all think? Y'all think that'll be good?
Do a season recap, Petty Sunday show with them before we sign off for our month and a half break.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I would love to be a part of the Petty Sunday, but those three.
Oh, jeez.
But is it regular? It's got to be. I don't know, because the Tossie and then the Tossie Burner. I don't know which one is more petty. Tossie Burner hasn't gotten.
You know my rule. As long as you're not saying the N-word every 5 seconds, I'm good, bro. Like I literally will let you talk whatever you want, as long as you keep the language under control.
That works actually.
That's really my only stip when I tell Jesse to bring people in.
Hey, we'll get it.
Just got to control it. So, anyways, so we got to watch games last week.
Roe actually is another one. I didn't even think about Roe.
No, Roe blew his chance when he started calling people names the first time we called him. Sorry, Ro. You're on probation for presentation.
Suspended.
He got suspended for a season on the show.
Well, technically it wouldn't be a season though. Technically the season's over.
Well, the season's whatever I say.
All right, touche. That works. I'm just saying. You're not wrong.
No, but Ro.
He said the season's when I'm.
Yeah.
He said just don't call Ro without giving the disclaimer.
The disclaimer. I mean, we definitely could. I mean, we have our little disclaimer queued up if anybody's ever heard it.
That is true.
Here we go. You ready? Oh, that's the wrong slide. My bad. It's the MA one. Let me see if I can find it here.
Fellas, I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, that was somebody else's
To be 100%
show.
honest with you.
Where's it at?
I have no idea.
There it is right there. Here we go. This is the intro for the Petty Sunday.
The following program is rated TV MA. What you are about to watch contains explicit language, adult themes, violence, and may not be suitable for viewers under 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Violence,
bro.
All right, I'm actually here for that. That's fine. I think they were talking about in the off season. I think they were talking about, well, you got a lot of these guys that like to get on and pop their gums. I think they were talking about getting an MMA thing going. So I mean, we could use that as a disclaimer for that. So
I know a couple of gyms that we could set some rings up in. So
we're getting some comments that like the shirt. Nice shirt, Team Dom.
Team Dom.
Hey, all right.
I'm sure I'll get text messages. I'm still trying to figure out who Team Dom is, but I'm sure it'll come to light. I'm waiting for an Outlaw shirt.
Speaking, I'm actually curious. I'm just thinking about that. Who did the violence one? The one just now. Who did that disclosure?
Oh, that's my man Andrew Jones. I say my man. He's
actually he said he. Oh, okay. He did just. It popped up. He said, "Haha, I forgot I did that one."
Yeah, he did. He's got a bunch actually. I got him queued up. to do a bunch in the off season.
Funny part. So we were talking on the sidelines before, and we were talking about how he is going obviously with some of the other stuff that he has going on, and like doing like the movie phone type of thing, and like doing the voices for some of those shows, and he was doing it there on the sideline, and I was like, okay.
It's funny because when we first started the season, or the league actually, and we wanted to do the live streams, I asked him to be a commentator, and he told me, oh, I can't speak, I'm embarrassed. I'm like, and then here he is.
Speak, he's embarrassed.
3 years later, 3 seasons, he's signing gigs.
I mean, I guess I could see that. Maybe
contracted with us to do basically be the voice of the league. So,
all right, I guess that. All right, that works.
Maybe he's got a face for radio. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, no one would see him. I don't know.
But
we'll
thanks to you, Mr. Jones, for offering your services.
we appreciate you, sir.
So, but I talk to him not every week, but at least every other week. So,
definitely appreciate you.
I got him on one of my talking points. But how was your week?
Good, man. Busy week. Obviously came off a good weekend of football this past weekend. That's one of the better weekends this past weekend. For the most part, all the games were pretty competitive for the most part.
For the majority of the clock.
For the majority of the time. I mean, like I said, it wasn't anything where some of them did start to open up a little bit, as you got a little bit further, down the, down in the clock, and the quarters went on. But good football weekend. Busy weekend this week, obviously, from a league perspective, too. I mean, I know we're probably one of the busier weekends compared to what we have been doing, obviously getting ready for this weekend and next weekend. So work was busy as hell, too.
Yep. Mine too. If you can't tell, my face is red. I had to walk sites this week, and
you do look like you've got a little rosy red cheeks over here.
Yeah, I did. So I got to start wearing some.
You gotta wear your dew cap.
My dew cap. I need y'all to hook me up with a real dew cap. Anyways.
Hey, so for any of you guys, if you have a dew cap for Matt, he will wear it.
I will wear it for you, just in honor of you.
Just so he doesn't. We don't want his head getting.
It's not my head, bro. It's my face right
It's
here.
a little bit of both.
A little bit.
We'll figure it out. What about you, man? Week was good, though?
Yeah, 2 days out in the field, but I'm excited for a 3-day weekend. My uncle's coming to town. Watch the games tomorrow. He's coming out from California, so I'll get to see the top teams tomorrow.
Okay.
And
nice.
Sunday, I'm getting drunk on moonshine, so do not message me. Don't call me. Don't Facebook me, because you may not want the response. I'm usually pretty good, but when I start having the moonshine, bro, I like to flap the gums. Ask Raph.
Moonshine, though. Okay.
I definitely will open up about some things. So
interesting. All right.
But other than that, man, it was a good week. Loved the football games. I had to run some errands during the Outlaws Phantoms games. So I didn't get a chance to really watch that game in full, but I went back and watched film today. So we can talk a little bit about that. Yep. And then, cool. Just a couple quick announcement, guys that are watching, owners, players, fans. Player gate open at 2, fan gate open at 3. So you guys, if you bring in the fans again, this last week we said, what time were we at? 9 o'clock to show up. We showed up at 8, and there was already players there.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
So guys, we're not allowed into the stadium or facility till 2. So please, and if you're gonna come and you're gonna eat food, throw your trash away.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, man. Well, let's jump right into the current playoffs and just kind of where we're at with all of that stuff, and we'll kind of walk through that. Obviously, we had the Rebels won over the Owls, which, even though the score was 25-6, I think it was pretty close. It
was a close game for the most part, yeah. I mean, it was, everybody kind of, I don't want to say they wrote the Owls off after, the fluke win or whatever you want to say up there in Prescott, but I don't think that everybody gave them a shot at all. Like, correct. They kind of expected them to come out and just get washed.
Yeah.
And shout out to those guys. I know there's been a lot of talk all season, about the different conferences and stuff. I think, they definitely played well. I kind of can't, like we kind of talked about, it just came down to who was going to make more plays. Obviously, the Rebels did. Shout out to the Owls on a good season.
Yeah, especially to the players, man.
Yeah, they fought.
They went through a lot.
They definitely went through a lot.
They pulled together. And I don't want to get petty on this.
Not at all.
I know Sunday was a lot of turmoil going on around the behind the scenes and screenshots and stuff like that. But shout out to those players that made it through the season and pulled together as a team. And I know some of them don't like me for whatever reason, but we do recognize that challenge that each team faces, and we don't shy away from giving you guys credit for when it's credit's due. whether you want it or not, hey, we appreciate you, and we definitely recognize the guys that were there for the team, and then obviously the ones that were there for themselves. So those of you guys that were there for the team, great season. I know it didn't end the way you wanted it to, but it was a fun game to watch.
What'll be interesting, I know, I wanted to come on here and just be hella petty.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I debated all week long on how petty I was going to come on here and get, and I'm not going to do that. I respect the guys on the Owls.
Yeah.
Obviously they faced a lot of challenges throughout the season,
Yep.
On and off the field.
Correct.
And they pulled together, obviously made the playoffs, upset the number 1 seed, played well. Obviously on the flip side of that, like I said, respect to them. The Rebels showed why they're the number 1 seed, undefeated at this point, 11-0.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much they proved why they're the number 1 seed so far.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have a tough matchup this week. We'll kind of talk through that here in a minute, but
Yeah.
they definitely, they made plays when they needed to. That defense looked great as they have all season.
Yeah.
I mean, they just made a ton of plays. The offense looked really well as well.
Yeah.
Looked really, really good.
Well,
So,
congrats to the Rebels for making it on to the next round.
Yep.
Owls, appreciate the season. Hope you guys can pull it together in the off season. All right, next game, Outlaws versus the Phantoms. Like I said, I wasn't there for the game. I watched a little bit of the film today before I came to the studio, so I'll let you kind of speak a little more on that game if you had a chance to really watch it.
yeah, that was one, kind of like we talked about. We weren't really too sure what we were going to get from really either team.
Yeah.
The Outlaws, you don't know from one week to the next what you're going to get from them in terms of the defense always plays pretty well. I was actually surprised to see them. They were getting gashed. The Phantoms came out and wanted to set the tone early with running the ball. They between Dixon and their other running back, Damon.
Yep.
They set the tone. They ran the ball down the Outlaws' throat. The Outlaws made, obviously they bowed up at times and made good stops, but the Phantoms played that smash mouth football. It wasn't one where the quarterback really had to do a ton in terms of winning that game for him, which was obviously kind of what we talked about.
Yep.
Last week. What were they going to do? Defenses both played really well. Phantoms basically obviously forced turnovers, on the Outlaws. And I think the other key was going into the end of that game, and it kind of was throughout the game, but going into that, like the end of the game, when you need a score.
Yeah.
The wind on that field was crazy at one point. Like you were
it
throwing
was-
the ball, and the ball was carrying back or flying to the other side of the field. And obviously being down, the Outlaws on that last drive had to try to go into the wind. I mean, they were going into the wind the whole fourth quarter. But when they needed it the most,
Yeah.
they didn't make the plays that they needed to. Phantoms defense stepped up.
If anybody watched the end zone angle,
Yeah,
you can
it's
see
all
it
over
from
the
time
place.
to time. That thing is just, and you got to remember that's a 30-foot singular pole in the air with a
Yeah.
camera on the top. So for as good as it was, I thought it was going to be worse. But I got to watch some of the clips today, and I noticed the Outlaws they missed a couple of key catches
Yep.
and runs. Had some missed tackles, and I think just it went the Phantoms' way. I did get a chance to talk to one of the Phantoms coaches today, and they're excited. Said they had a horrible practice this week, unfortunately, and that they, got some guys that still aren't bought into the system. So we'll see. We'll see how they handle the Rebels. I'm sure they're on there calling me a liar like they do all the time, but.
If that's the case, I'm interested to see, because I believe when they had a horrible practice one of their weeks, now whether or not obviously that was true or not, or whether that's, just somebody saying something or whatever it might be, after talking to some of their players, I don't recall what game that was, but they got smacked in one of their games. Was it against the Rebels?
Or the Spartans.
Or was it the Spartans? No, it's the Spartans game.
Yeah, I think it was the Spartans.
And after talking to some of those guys after that game, they just said that they didn't have a good practice.
Yeah.
And it showed. So I'm interested to see, obviously, if that truly was the case, I'm interested to see, obviously, how that plays out, because obviously, the old saying is you practice how you play.
Yep.
Or, excuse me, you play how you practice. Excuse
Play
me.
like you practice, and you practice like you play. Yep.
I'm hoping that that's not the case. Obviously, I'm hoping that was just somebody trying to, maybe get the other team there to.
I don't know. It wasn't Derek I talked to, so like I said, I know a lot of the coaches and owners throughout the league, so it's easy for me to just make a phone call. Obviously, when the Commiss's phone number shows up on your phone, most people answer. But that doesn't mean they got to be truthful and tell me everything, you know. So,
We'll
but
see.
I hope. I know Derek and Amy have been chasing this ship. We talked about this last week about, you know, they're trying to. That's their last goal of the team, to be, quote, satisfied with what they've built. So I hope they can pull it off. Yeah, I'm excited to see this new quarterback they got. I think they're on their third or fourth string quarterback now, or I don't call him string, but because he's first string, he's starting. But
Right.
The fourth quarterback or third quarterback in the season. So we'll see how they handle themselves. You know. So, but we can talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Getting sidetracked here. So, all right, next matchup we had the Spartans Thunder game. You know, I don't even want to give these. I don't even know where to start.
You want me to start? No, I'll let you go ahead. Go ahead.
If there's any Thunder players watching,
Don't even get me started.
y'all
Disappointed.
Disappointed.
Not disappointed in everybody. Let me not put it that way.
Let me rephrase that. I'm disappointed in the ones that didn't come.
Very much so.
You guys walked all over the Spartans 4 weeks ago. It's the same players you played 4 weeks ago, so you should have came up here and mollywopped the shit out of them. I don't think the Spartans are as good as they looked like on Saturday morning.
Spartans looked really good on Saturday. Now, mind you,
That's because the Thunder showed up with 24 players.
yeah, mind you, the Thunder
something,
showed up with a bunch
half
of
a roster.
Yeah, half a roster. Now, I think, obviously, the score 29-0, that's pretty pertinent to how that game went. You know, it was not a... And I think it's frustrating to kind of see, and I know it's frustrating, obviously, like, I don't play for the Thunder, but I know those guys put in a lot of work, obviously, every week, driving down here with the exception of one, going to practice. I mean, you do that, and then to only see part of your team show up. I don't know if the time played a factor into that. I would hope not. Regardless if it did, it is what it is. But to not have guys show up when it's needed... It's just, I mean...
So for me, it's mad respect for the guys that made
facts.
it. The rest
Very
of you
much
guys,
so.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're not returning next year because your coach probably won't let you on the team. Like, when they needed you the most, you weren't there. That's how I look at it. Like, you knew playoffs were coming. You knew the game was going to happen. You were going to take the whole day off regardless of the time slot. Let's be honest with each other, right? Like, you win that game, you're celebrating the rest of the day. It doesn't matter if it's 10-1, 4-7. You were taking the whole day off to play football.
Yeah.
Because that may have been your last game of the season, so you were going to put everything on the line. So you knew, I'm coming out a winner or I'm coming out losing. Hey,
you leave it all on the field.
Yeah,
I mean,
so to not show up, I mean, to me, is kind of a cop-out. But
my biggest thing, I don't know why guys weren't there, obviously. You know, it's just I find it hard to, you know, like I said, they're normally a team that's stacked on the sidelines.
Yep.
You know, traveling.
And then it didn't help
so.
them. They lose one of their star players, like, I think before the
halfway
half.
through. Yeah, it was right
Like,
before the end of the game, or right before the half.
Just couldn't control his emotions.
Yeah, I mean, that's one. Yeah, I mean, we talk about that all the time. It's one where you want an emotional guy, but it needs to be under control.
Yeah.
You know, things are not going to go your way all the time, which obviously that's life. You know, it's obviously with something like what we're doing here where it's a controlled environment, controlled aggression. You'll hear coaches preach it all the time.
And I
want that guy that wants to set the tone.
One of my favorite players that does it the best, and ironically, is Rowe. Rowe gets, he is in it, but as soon as he steps off the field, he's back to just, I don't know if I'm just seeing a different side, more mature Rowe. I've heard he's had some issues years down the road, years back, but those are the players I like, man. They show up, they're on the field, they're intense, and then when they step off, they're just, hey, what's up, bud? Like, there's no, you don't get that vibe.
Well, you turn that switch on, you turn it off. You've got to be able, like I said, controlled aggression. But on the flip side of that, you know, obviously the Thunder didn't show up and do what they needed to do. The Spartans obviously, showed up and did what they needed to do. They looked good. They did what they were supposed to do against the team. You know, obviously we talk about the defense all the time. Being led by Ronald Gordon over there now. Me and him were chatting, and you look at, I believe he came in, I want to say week 4.
No, it was the Thunder game was his first game.
Well,
on the field.
yeah, okay,
So
but I know he was
5?
around week 5. Okay, week 4, week 5. But you see a difference from, obviously I talked a lot about their cornerbacks and different things that were going on, and you can see a difference now.
See the adjustments.
You see the adjustments, and I'm not sure what was going on before that, or anything like that, but you definitely can see the adjustments that they're making. They're causing turnovers. They're getting 3 and outs.
Yeah.
They're playing well. They're peaking at the time that you need to peak at.
Correct.
So that, I think this will be another good weekend. Obviously, like I said last week, and they came in, they did what they wanted to do for the most part.
Ain't going to change my decision in a minute. But anyways. All right, next
You know,
game.
I give them props on that. They definitely, we always talk about coming in and doing what they need to do. They
Yep.
did what they need to do. They got the win. You know, it might not have always been pretty at times, but
Yeah.
29-0, you handle business. So
Yep, good for them. And then I think we have the Reapers-Lions game, right? At the end there?
Yep.
All right, I think that's it. Sorry.
Yeah, Reapers Lions. I know you can't see. You're blind as a bat.
Forgot my glasses.
Barely can see the computer over here.
I know, I'm literally squinting, and I already squint just because I'm fat. So, all right, so I got to watch this game. It was a lot closer than I thought. I think
you picked it. What did you pick the score to be? I mean, I don't even recall what you picked the score to be, but I don't think it was close.
Yeah. I think I had 14-14 going in the half, and then 14-30 at the game Lions. I picked the Lions, but I think they went into halftime. I don't keep that close track of each game, but I do know the first half was close.
Yeah.
They're going back and forth. The one thing that shocked me a little bit was that the Reapers were moving the ball up and down the field the first half. They just couldn't finish.
I was going to say they couldn't finish.
KP was running all over. I mean, he was throwing. That wasn't perfect all the time. The defense was doing their job, but they were moving it a lot more than I expected. And film don't lie. You can go watch the film. They were moving the ball. Problem is they turn it over, 4 and out. Like, they couldn't finish.
Okay, you can have 99 yards. If you don't get that 100th yard to get in, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You know, the Lions did what they needed to do. They got stops,
Yep.
made plays. You know, obviously it got not out of hand. I mean, 18-0, but you know, for them to win, at the end of the day, they did what they needed to do.
I think the credit goes to the players on the Lions, you know, for making the adjustments at halftime. Whoever they came from, either Vonnie or whoever, you know, Andrew, whoever's making the adjustments in the locker room, the Reapers didn't do that. And we talked about the experience with Tyler last week. Like, does he have the experience to start really adjusting and things like that? So, to me, it's a great lesson to be learned by that team. Doesn't take away the fact that this is probably the best year I know it's the best year they've ever had, but it's even better than I expected. So, you know, credit to the Reapers for showing up and giving it a good fight. But at the end of the day, like I said, you know, teams won. The better team won. Who won?
I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, the Lions did, you know, what they needed to do. They played Lions football.
Mm-hmm.
Offense, you know, looked pretty good. Kenny was out there running the ball, you know, running the ball really well. You know, and Tyree obviously doing his thing there.
Yeah.
The defense always did, you know, that's one thing that I'll say from the Lions defense. You know, they don't give up a ton of yards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's going to be times, obviously it's football, you're going to have plays where it's going to be, you know, teams will move the ball a little bit, whether it's on kickoff, an interception.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to happen. At the end of the day, if they don't put the ball in the end zone, regardless, that's what your defense is out there to do. Obviously, we're talking about semi-pro, so most teams don't have a kicker to the point where it's like, if a team gets down, let's just say on the 30 or something like that, you know, sometimes it's, oh, wait, like in the NFL, team gets down to the 30, you almost, for the most part, a lot of times you're guaranteeing 3 for the most part. You know, obviously with semi-pro, you don't have that, so they bend, they don't break.
Yeah.
You know, there was times even in that game, you know, where the Reapers would get down there, and you'd have a big play by Tim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, a sack here or whatever it might have been. They did what they needed to do to not let them score. That obviously is, whether it's a 2-point win or an 18-point win like they got, they did what they needed to do. They looked good, you know, doing it. So,
Yeah.
you know, shout out to those guys. I know that, you know, there's a lot of time I don't want to say we give them grief, but they don't think that we,
Pay
you know,
attention.
pick them or pay attention to different things.
Yep.
They played well. Like I said, hey, number 2 seed for a reason, you know.
And I think that when you're talking about that, like, these players, they're on one team, so they watch one team. We're watching 17 teams. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to, you know. So, but anyhow, you know, congrats to the Lions for moving on to the next round. This is, we'll get into the game matchup, but they're moving into the rematch of 19. So, yeah, so recap on the games. I think most people are tuning in because they want to know who won the awards.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of it too.
Oh, yeah. I think we probably have more views tonight than we've ever had, but hey.
We're sitting pretty steady.
Cool.
It's about the same we always get, so.
All right. Well, we're going to pepper the awards throughout the show, guys. So we're going to just start with the first one, Coach of the Year. Congratulations to Coach Love for getting Coach of the Year. He had 29.2% of the votes for 213 out of 729. This was the one question that wasn't required if whoever filled out the form. So some people didn't respond. But once again, congrats to him. Honorable mentions, obviously, the kind of runner-up in the third place, Vonnie and Coach Tyler from the Reapers. Those guys both, were right there. But, Coach Love, little backstory on some of those guys. On him to some of the guys listening. He took over the Warlords, I think, in 2017. Was that the year that they won?
16 or 17, one of the two.
Had to be 17. It was the first year we were in the league as the Spartans. Because I remember I threw a big hissy fit about him changing the team name week before the season started. It's kind of a habit of doing that, huh? Right before the season drops, he's making changes. Anyways, he went from the Warlords, turned it into the Rebels, and that was the year they won with 26 guys. Yeah. That was Trey's championship year and a couple other things. So he's had high playoff seeding in the last 5 years. I know he was around, prior to when I came in the picture in the Warlord Rebel transfer. I know he'd had some time off. He was on the original Rebels team in the 2000s. So I'm sure we could get a lot more stats and stuff, and we'll build on that over the week. But, and then obviously he's got an undefeated season so far this year. Yep. So, I've had the pleasure of getting to know Ed on a personal level over the last couple of years. There's been some turmoil. Not turmoil, but him and I bump heads, and the people kind of get the misconstrued conception. But Ed's one of my favorite coaches in the league, and owner as well. He expects a high standard like I do. Yeah. And that's why him and I sometimes bump heads, because we want different standards. But nonetheless, our main goal's always been to have the best league, best teams, best everything. So congratulations to you, Coach. We will see you at the championship at halftime to present the awards to you and the other winners throughout the night. So I look forward to, whether you're playing in the game or not, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night and then the following week.
Yeah, so. Congrats, Dad, on that. I know, like I said, playing against him for all these, different years and stuff with different, throughout the years, he's got a passion, and he expects a certain level, as I think, for the most part, obviously, most of these coaches do. You expect things a certain way. He goes about it the right way. Yep. And shouts out to him. Like I said, it's definitely well deserved this year. 10-0. Well, technically 11-0 if you count the playoff victory, but they definitely deserves it. And shout out to the other guys. I mean, Vonnie, obviously, with everything that he did this year, even though he didn't win Coach of the Year, right? Yeah. But
still had a good season.
Still had a great season. Still going, obviously, right? So, shout out to him on that, and obviously Tyler with what he did. I don't think a lot of these guys obviously these guys do, but I don't think a lot of people realize, if you're not a part of these teams, how much these guys actually put in, and actually do there, because they're not getting paid for this for the most part, right? I don't know any of these guys if they get paid. I can't speak for it, right? But they're taking time out of their day, just like the players are, to go. And obviously, from a player perspective, they're watching film, as the coaches are, and these coordinators and stuff. But I don't think these guys realize how much time a lot of these guys really put in. Yeah. So shout out to them, definitely.
Yeah. Well, congrats, Coach. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the game. All right, man. First matchup, huh? Let's get into the actual games. I know everybody's kind of wanting to hear what we got going on there. So yep. I think we'll start with the 4 o'clock game. It's at Yonkers. Kickoff's at 4 p.m. That is with the Lions and the Spartans.
Rematch
from 2019 semifinals.
Well, semifinals and then a rematch of this year. That was a hell of a game, too. So
yes.
We'll kind of talk through that. But
yep, for sure. I talked to a player this week from the Spartans about another issue. It had nothing to do with the league, but I asked him how practice went, and he said it was, in his opinion, it was shitty. They had just a lot of people standing around, didn't really accomplish anything. So we'll see. I've been told that before, though, by these guys, that they have crappy practices and then they come out looking like an NFL team. That's every team. I've had every team.
Well,
tell
I
me
mean, we
that
kind of
they're
talked about that with the Phantoms too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes
I feel like they're just feeding me BS, so I have something to talk
well,
about.
they come in here and then they have you look stupid. They're
I
like,
was
yeah,
just
we
gonna
looked
say-
real bad, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, look at Matt. Look at
Oh,
this.
they did that
like,
on Saturday. They were like, "Oh, we look horrible, huh, Matt?" I'm like,
Yeah, I heard about that. I saw some pictures too.
"Those bastards!" But they wouldn't let me off the field, man. They
They
literally,
definitely put you in the middle of that with that
Yes.
shirt on.
And
Kind of hilarious.
to their credit, I made the mistake of coming straight off the field. I was going to the other side, and I should have went down and around. My dumbass, just being who I am, I walked right through the sideline with my Thunder shirt on. So I got pinned and taken pictures of, and upside down thumbs and stuff. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it was hilarious.
One thing I noticed when I was watching the game last week with the Spartans, if Scotty doesn't run what Aaron tells him to, it's a blown play. So that's my takeaway for this week. Scotty has to run the plays the OC's calling. If not, and that's not even a biased opinion, just watch film. Like, why do some plays look good? Guys are wide open and he's throwing it in the dirt, or he's trying to run the ball. Like, he's not running the plays that they run. And they've been running the same offense for 5 years. So it's easy for somebody that, like Fonnie, for instance, who's a film junkie, he'll pick up the plays that didn't get executed properly. That's one thing I noticed in his games is he's quick to tell his defense or offense what the other person's doing, and then you see all the players look over at him, and then they're looking at their captain like, are we checking out of this? Because he knows what we're going to do.
Right.
So, credit to him on that. So I know he doesn't take any advice from me, but if he does, I'm sure he's already caught on to some of those plays in the huddle that,
We'll see.
so.
I mean,
But yeah, but my main point is, if that offense doesn't run the plays the coaches are calling, they're not going to win. That's just flat out there. So, your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
You're reading the comments, aren't you?
No, I think that both of these games that we have this weekend are going to be great games. One of the things, like, as we kind of think about, the Spartans is, from what we're used to with the Spartans in previous years, the offense has, I want to say offense has carried the team, because the Spartans' defense has always played really well as well. But the defense is the ones, for the most part, I don't want to say carrying, because obviously the offense is putting up points too, but the defense has been playing well. What I think what's going to be interesting to me this week is one thing that I've seen the Spartans struggle with at times is keeping a quarterback that can move a little bit, keeping him in the pocket.
Yep.
I'm interested to see, obviously, like, who plays where, because I know that I've seen some of the adjustments that they've made. They'll move guys to say, hey, you know what? We normally come with this front. We're going to move to this front now because we have a more mobile quarterback. Obviously, with the Lions, that's what you have in Tyree this weekend.
Yep.
He took a play to the, I want to say it was maybe 43 yards. I don't know the exact yardage, but I know on a read option, took it to the house on that. Obviously, that's something that he can take it to the house on any play, as a lot of these guys can. But that read option has given them problems at times. With Thunder game is a perfect example. Not so much that it was a mobile quarterback. There was a lot of different things going on in that Thunder game with the Spartans, where they kind of exposed a little bit of certain things on that D-line potentially, or at the linebackers. Guys got to fill.
Yep.
You got to do certain things. Obviously, that's, I think, to me, is going to be interesting. Kind of the same thing, though, you think about on the flip side of that with the Spartans. The Lions, I don't want to say struggled with it a little bit with keeping KP in the pocket with the Reapers.
Yeah.
But there was at times where they were going upfield, and they made adjustments. KP was running all over the place. Not so much gaining 40, 50 yards, but he was running all over the place, getting away from pressure.
Yep.
And then he was obviously making like a bad throw based upon pressure that was still coming.
Or
But there was
receiver dropped
times
the ball.
where, or the receiver drops the pass, different stuff like that. But both teams, I don't want to say struggle against it at times,
Yeah.
but it's a matter of adjustments, which they both do very, very well. One of the things you talked about is Vonnie is great with watching film, as a lot of these guys are.
Yeah.
And they kind of come together and talk through it and obviously make adjustments. That's on both teams. So I think that that's going to be a big key to this game, is both teams have potential running quarterbacks. Obviously, if Scotty's in the game, dual threat quarterback there, more of a runner than a thrower, but he can throw the ball.
Yeah.
He's made plays there. Tyree can do both as well. running backs in this game are both, obviously both teams have great running backs, good receivers on both teams. I mean, this is a matchup to me that could be a championship matchup.
Yeah, I think actually
really both these games could be championship matchups.
That's what we want. I want to see that back and forth. For the Lions, Kenny Mitchell is one of my favorite players in the league. I know he had some issues with the team. Some couple weeks in the middle of the season, there was some stuff going on, and they worked through all that. I'm glad to see him back on the field. And he 15 carries for 87 yards on Saturday, which tells me he's 7 yards a carry average, something like 6.8 or something.
Little overset,
So,
well, no, it'd be about a little under 6 yards a carry.
But still,
a great, good average. You figure 6 yards every carry, that year it's a first down every 2 plays.
Yeah. So, credit to him in working through whatever, issues they had internally within the team and whatever, to put that aside and be there for the team and, finish what they're starting and, continue to play for the team and get through it, and really we could talk about a lot of different players on that team, specifically with that bullet point, but I'm excited to see him play. I definitely will be watching all those guys for sure. So, and then of course, Old Man Jones, the voice, got 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 forced fumble recovery touchdown, I believe. So, he had a hell of a game for being as old as he is. My question is, how long does he keep it up? Is this his last season? I heard 2 seasons ago was his last season.
I don't know. I hear that from a lot of these guys. Until I don't see him back the following season, another one, we'll talk about him later, but Mike Mack's another one from the fans. I've been hearing
Mike's been retiring for 5 years
5
now.
years.
Yeah.
Andrew, I've heard, him say he wasn't coming back a couple of times, so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously the Lions are the defending champs.
Yeah.
Obviously from 2019, but no one has beat them yet at this point. Obviously they lost 2 games throughout the regular season, but
that don't mean nothing.
That doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, they are still the defending champs.
Yeah.
And this was a hell of a game earlier in the year. I believe that, I don't recall the score, but I know that the fumble that the Lions forced on the goal line, ended up winning that game.
Yeah.
So that was one that obviously if that ball's, I don't know how much time was left on the clock or anything like that, so I'm not going to remember from that far away, from that long ago, time on the clock, but if they punch that in, depending on how much time is left, it's maybe a different outcome that we're looking at in terms of that. Well, it potentially is a different outcome that we're looking at because they score a touchdown, they're up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is going to be a slugfest.
It's going to go back and forth. I don't have it being a very high scoring game.
That's the interesting part to me is I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game either. This is something that we always talk about, but with games like this, it's potentially comes down to bad snap, right? Or, quarterback and a receiver being on the same page. Quarterback thinks he's running a fade, or quarterback thinks he's running a hitch and he runs a fade, right?
Yep.
Now it's a pick 6 to the house, like something like that. It will be a game changer in this game. And we'll kind of see what happens. I think it's a hell of a game though to start the day out.
Yeah.
Both of these teams want to prove that they can win a championship. This is where it starts right here.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
who do you got?
Man. Well, I'm curious. Before I say that, so somebody Ren's asked, curious what you'll say. Who do you think is a better quarterback, Tyree or Scotty? If you're picking one person to win you a game, who are you taking, Tyree or Scotty?
Tyree.
Taking Tyree. All right.
If you guys ever noticed, I don't know if you noticed, Scotty's not the most limber guy.
Scotty's down to like 233 or something. Tell him, Scotty, I don't know if you're watching, but tell him you're not.
I don't fucking care. He deserves a lineman number.
Okay,
but
that's tough.
If you watch,
he's gonna put you on a bag of chips.
Hey, my shirt's coming this week, so I don't know what y'all talking about. Anyways,
all right. I was just curious. Okay, go ahead.
They need to put me on a ho-hos thing.
They
or
might
cupcakes or something, but
they might.
Anyways, Tyree gets an open field. That's the difference. It's not behind the line scramble. It's not to pick the holes. It's once in the open field, he goes. And sorry, Scotty, you just don't have the wheels like that, man. I do think Tyree makes some better adjustments on the throws.
Scotty said he's down to 235, from 280 to 235.
That's still fat on a 5'4"
right,
frame.
That's fine. I'm just.
Hey, when you're 5'4", 230 pounds obese, bro. Come on now.
Shit, you're calling that man obese?
I'm saying he's 5'4".
All right, Scotty, I'm not gonna let him talk about you like that. No, good job, man. But
to answer Lorenzo's question, I'd pick Tyree over Scotty.
all right, just curious.
And then above all of you guys, it'd be Daniel. So, anyways, moving on.
Touche.
So, answer
right.
your question.
Go ahead.
Answer
I'll
my
let
question.
you pick first.
You never picked.
No, that's fine. I want to hear yours first, because I'm still honestly I'm debating on this game. Like, I think it's gonna be a hell of a game.
It'd go either way. You might as well get a coin out and flip it. But for me, I'm going with the Lions, 14-12.
14-12 Lions.
Yep. I think Vonnie makes the adjustments and embarrasses Aaron on the defense. I think him, Haas, Jones, and Tim, they all get together and they figure it out.
I got to go back to something real quick. You called him 5'4", 235. Scotty's not 5'4". I mean, Scotty's not 6'4", but I don't think he's 5'4".
They're pretty close.
Scotty, how tall are you? I know you're watching. I see you on here laughing and stuff. I'm just curious what, like...
He says 5'5" or 5'6". I'm gonna die. You gotta remember, I'm 6'3". Everybody's small and little to me, so...
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot you're... Yeah, okay.
I told you
I
I'm a
get
fat
it.
guy.
All
Just
right,
call me
I'm
the
just
Marshmallow
saying.
Man.
Scotty, I need you to make like a... I don't know if you do it or somebody else does them for you. I need you to make a Matt Archer one. And I need you to put him on a ho-ho.
A ho-ho package?
Or like a Swiss roll or something like that. Like...
Cupcakes are my favorite, bro.
Okay, yeah. Like,
I need
do one of the...
I need
like,
the 8 swirls.
I'm just saying. All right.
All right, we're
I'm
getting
just curious.
sidetracked.
I know. I'm sorry. I got on these comments, man, and I start laughing. But I just wanted to see. I was curious what you say there. Scotty said he's 5'11" ¾ All right, listen. You're 5'10". Okay, it's not what's on your driver's license that you wrote on there, bro.
Or
Listen.
what your height is with your cleats on. Come on, man.
Listen, I'm not here for that.
All right.
But no. Okay, so 14-12 Lions. So do you think? So is it? How do they score?
Tim
How
has
do
a
both
pick
teams
6.
score? Tim has a pick 6. Okay.
And then I think the DBs choke some big dingling and freaking give up a deep route, and Tyree sees it and just chucks it, and it's there.
Okay.
I think they score that other touchdown on a blown play. I think it's going to be a play designed to one side, and then Tyree's going to see.
backside.
He's going to see that it's the dude just running free, because that DB's biting on whatever's in front of him.
And that's what I think is going to be interesting with the chess match, because both of these teams, what surprised me, like I said, the Spartans have been a better running team this year, than what they've been in previous years. They've run it more than what they have in previous years. Obviously depending upon how that's going, obviously you change your defensive fronts accordingly, and obviously you call different plays and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see, do the Spartans, what does that defense look like? Obviously, you know what you're going to get from the front seven.
Yep.
The DBs have definitely been playing better, but do they trust the DBs enough to potentially put them across the board and potentially man? Something like that. And
I think it's the person he throws it to is going to be Dre. I think they leave Dre all by himself on the side. And
didn't Drake played for the Spartans last year, didn't he?
I know the year before.
Well, I know the year before he
but
did, but I don't. Well, last year obviously it was a shorter season. But
I don't think he did last year. I think he was on the.
Well, I thought he said something about playing for him last year.
Maybe
I feel like I saw a Facebook post that said this is not a redemption game, but this is a.
So there's a before Matt's player list and after Matt's player list. So if they were after me, I don't know a lot of the players on the team over the last 3 seasons. So I couldn't tell you what season he played.
I was just curious. I know he at one point he played for the Spartans. So, he said he played for the Spartans the last 2 years.
Okay.
So this will be a matchup, obviously. Obviously, he played against them earlier in the season too, but regular season, playoffs is playoffs. So we'll see.
We'll see.
But
still waiting on your pick, bro.
So going with this, I'm gonna take the Lions.
Is she mesmerizing you? You can't focus right now.
I can't. Yeah, I'm
can't
sorry.
have guests in the studio anymore because you can't pay attention.
I can't pay
to your
attention.
job.
I know. I'm all over the place. No, I'm taking the Lions in this game as well.
Okay.
I was debating on the Spartan. Like I said, to me, I think it's a coin flip. I think that it's going to be a lower scoring game, like you said as well. We'll say going to say 12. No, we'll say... I'm going to say 14-10. 14-10.
Spartans have a kicker.
Spartans do have a kicker. So...
Okay.
14-10.
14-10.
Lions. Steve, I will not be shaving my beard anytime soon, sir.
So, little word of advice to the Spartans. If you guys remember how you lost to the Lions in the first semifinals, let's try not to repeat that. Right? Know the rules. Know the runoff, flags, all that stuff. Pay attention to that stuff. And Lions just cram the ball down their throat. Moving on. We good? Now you're mesmerized by me?
No. Man. I was thinking about... No, I'm just thinking about that. I'm just thinking about the game. Because like I said...
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the only guy that pays you. But all right. Getting into it. Would you like to share? I know you keep looking at that phone there.
Oh no, they're just. I'm just reading the different comments on who they say is going to win.
Oh yeah.
Steve wants me to shave my beard if the Spartans win. I'm not shaving my beard, not never. Yeah, it's not happening.
So, all right, get into the next award here. We got Defensive Player of the Year. Congratulations to Mr. FLUKER for getting Defensive Player of the Year with 18.2% of the votes, 156 out of 855 total votes given. Some honorable mentions we got right behind him, close but just didn't quite make it. Jaron, is that how we pronounce it? Jaron Green? Remember, I thought we spelled it wrong. Mac might be able to correct us and let us know. And then Christian Upshaw. So Jaron Green from the Phantoms and Christian Upshaw from the Spartans. But congratulations to Mr. FLUKER. Did not get the updates on the stats from the guys that were doing all this. So, long story short, anybody that knows Semi-Pro has been around a while, watched the show last night, you got to meet Mr. FLUKER. Yeah, I could go on days about how good of a teammate this guy is. It's no secret, though, when he came and tried out with the Spartans, I think it was our second year, I wasn't a big fan. But I am now. He's really grown and matured, thanks to Ed. I give all that to being on the Rebels and being, told to do that. So, anything you want to talk about?
They're upset. They said Fluke shouldn't have won.
I don't care.
They're saying it should be Jake Reed. So.
Yeah, well, better luck next time, Jake. All right, congratulations, FLUKER, on that one. I'm gonna go to our first sponsor break here, and I'm gonna hand it over to my man Bush whenever you're ready.
Yes, sir. So the first sponsor that we have is the, guys will start to hear more about that, but established in 2014, it's a small group of men dedicated and focused on cultivating invest in youth development. They have most notably donated to the American Diabetes Association, Muscular Dystrophy, Red Cross, and WaterAid. They're a proud sponsor of the Arizona Cactus Football League. I know you'll start to see more about that here in the coming weeks, and obviously as we kind of go through the upcoming season and things like that. So
I'm calling it the revamp.
The revamp
of 2021. But appreciate that. Shout out to my man Raph for being part of that group.
Definitely.
All right, the next award. Now, if they complain about this one, I'm done with the show.
No, they're already logged off. They don't care anymore. Everything's rigged, according to this, as we kind of hear about. So
okay, cool.
Oh, well.
So, Mr. Dre Capone, as he's called on Facebook, congratulations to DeAndre Dickerson of the Lions for winning Offensive Player of the Year. He had 17.2% of the votes, which was 147 out of 855. Congratulations to you, sir, on that. Look forward to seeing you at the championship game to get your official league award, whether you're in the championship or not. I hope you make it out and accept that from us at halftime. Some honorable mentions, obviously, KP from the Reapers and Lorenz. Those guys came in very close. I think they were almost identical, Lorenz and KP, but there was some little bit of pull ahead by Dre. So congratulations, Dre, on that. Look forward to watching you play tomorrow, and hopefully you have a big game. I need some touchdowns from you. Hopefully, the one that I just talked about a minute ago. So, But look forward to seeing you tomorrow and seeing what you guys can do. Cool.
Yeah,
All right. Shout out to Dre, man. Hopefully he has a good game tomorrow. He's been having a hell of a game the last couple of weeks, so I really hope he pulls it together tomorrow and does what he needs to do.
Hey, we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, congrats to him. I know it's one, with a lot of these guys too. He can take it to the house at any point.
Oh yeah.
I know, that 97-yard touchdown that he had.
And he's physical too, so he's not afraid to hit somebody. So cool. All right, 7:00 game, Yonkers game of the week. This is the one that's going to be fun to watch. Also, both these games are going to be exciting. If you guys have time tomorrow, fans, get your players, get your people out there, man. These are going to be some really fun games. Internet worked today. I can't promise you it'll work tomorrow, but we did physically test it today, and it worked. All right, so hopefully this game will be live tomorrow. If not, we will be recording it like we always do and put that up the following day for you guys. But the Rebels, number 1 seed, taking on the Phantoms, the number 5 seed at 7 p.m. at Yonkers. This game's going to be super fun. The Rebels took the win last week. We really didn't talk too much about this because I wanted to wait till the actual game, but Coach said it wasn't good enough.
I mean,
he basically told his team that nothing's good enough until they win the ship. Now, obviously, I can't say some of the words and completely repeat the speech that he gave them, but that's what I took away from it. And he's absolutely right. The Owls were the lowest seed, and they still kind of gave him a challenge. But I was excited to see the Wren step up. I didn't see him have too many meltdowns, if any. I don't know if he, a couple bad plays and throws, but some good ones too. So appreciate Lorenz, stepping up and, becoming the leader last week, and hopefully that continues into this week because this is the game that's going to count. Max coming for you, Mr. Green, that defensive line. I expect to see a couple sacks on Lorenz this weekend or tomorrow. So, but the Rebels aren't done, so that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like we're losing our start of the show off with a bang, and you're just over there. Is it the bang?
I'm just reading the comments. They're talking about the awards and stuff. I just like to read the comments, and
right.
It is what it is. Like I said, we'll as we talked about, we'll talk through the awards and all that stuff and stuff later. But
cool.
I think that this is gonna be a good game. Obviously the Rebels. This was a game where earlier in the season, obviously the Rebels came out with a win. And they've been playing well, all season. They are getting the wins that they need to win.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. I feel like we keep repeating ourselves every week. Like it's the same, not the same.
Well, you figure
story,
they
just
get the
keep
job
winning.
done.
It's like, okay.
Well, I mean, the only game when you really think about it, the only game that they completely just blew a team out was the Roll Tide.
Okay.
There hasn't been a week where they've just they've dominated at times, but the score, if you looked at the scores, if you went through and looked at their scores, with the exception of the Roll Tide game, you would think, okay, they are getting lucky winning games. Like even last week, you look at the score, you would think that them going against a team from the other, even though it was a good game, a lot of their scores are not indicative of how those games go.
Correct.
From that. So obviously we'll see what happens with that. They're doing what they need to do. This is a game that'll be interesting because if the Phantoms can't run the ball like they did last week and it's into the quarterback's hands, I don't know if that bodes well for the Phantoms. I don't think it does.
Not when you got Hollywood too and FLUKER potentially on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, and obviously that is that they're playing well. Obviously on the other side, the Phantoms defense has been their strong point this year. They gave up more points than what I've seen them give up in previous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because the defense is, out there, and doesn't. They're on the field a lot.
Yep.
So obviously they have been playing well. I think it's going to be this is another one. I think both of these games. I think this is going to be a game where I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring. Obviously I don't think it's a 40-point game for each team, where they're back and forth.
Yeah.
type of a game, but I think that it is a higher scoring game than what we picked on the other, the other game here.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I think so. I like I said, I don't think it's going to be much higher, but I do think that it'll be a little bit of a higher scoring game. I'm taking the Rebels. I know I have the Phantom shirt on, but I am taking the Rebels in this game, and I think that they end up scoring. I think it's a game where Lorenz, he has something to prove again. He's had something to prove all season, but I think this is a game where, he wants to kind of get rolling. Obviously, you call the plays that are in front of you, but
yeah,
I think that they come out and get a win. I'm taking the Rebels with we'll say 26 to 12 Rebels. Setting up a matchup with the Lions next week in the championship, Rebels-Lions.
Okay. I think the Phantoms looked good last week, so if they can continue that road, I don't think it'll be as big of a blowout. But I got the Rebels at 14-6.
14-6, okay.
Yep. I think it's going to be a defensive-heavy game. I think the defenses on both sides will be on the field a lot. Or it'll be back and forth. 3 and out, back and forth all the way through. And then hopefully we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, I got the Rebels on this one. They've been showing us every week why they're still undefeated. So we're just gonna keep with that. Hopefully Fisher can continue what he did last week to give the Phantoms a chance. But I think if they don't show up with some sort of run game, like you said, they're not going to be able to make it. They just won't be able to even have a chance in the game. So, but yeah, Rebels from there.
Jonte, I said 26 because I feel like they're going to get one of their 2-point conversions on the touchdown. That's why I said 26. They're not going to miss all 4 extra points, and they're not going to get 2 of their extra points. They're going to get one of their extra points, puts it 26.
Gotcha.
I just want to give him, he said, why I picked 26.
So, awesome. So now that we're talking about rigged awards, let me guess, Lions people, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's not just Lions. It's multiple people saying it, but
That who should have won the Defensive Player of the Year?
Jake Reed.
Huh.
Because he had the most votes.
He had the most votes. So if we go back to what we talked about last week about how we were figuring out who the winners were based on the votes.
I don't think everybody paid attention to that, but that's...
Oh, I'm going to be super petty right now. Pay attention, guys. I told you whoever gets the most votes wins MVP overall. So congratulations to Jake Reed. And I'm getting pissed because we talked about this.
Hey, it is what it is.
Same thing. They're speaking on shit they know nothing about. Anyways, beside the point. Congratulations, Jake. I don't want to take away from you winning this. Proud of you, man. I remember when you came and played for us, we weren't too sure about you that very first season. Still skinny as ever. But he has improved year after year after year after year. He won MVP with 20.4% with the overall vote 174 out of 855. So I'm proud of you, man, on a personal level. I know he's went through a couple of things over the last maybe 2 seasons ago, some personal things that he worked through, and I'm proud of him for pushing through all that stuff.
They talking about plot twist.
Yeah, plot twist. 5 steps, gentlemen. 5 steps. All right,
Man.
see,
Hey, y'all was ready to pull up on us at the field, though. Like,
now they got me mad.
No,
Y'all
it is
got
what
me
it is.
frustrated, and I can't even congratulate my young man for being a leader on a team, being a captain, whether he's got a C on or not. I don't know. He is a captain. He's a leader. Jake, congratulations, man. I look forward to watching you play tomorrow and seeing you in the championship to give you your MVP award in front of all the fans at halftime, and to take home that title. And tomorrow, I hope you show everybody why you were the MVP.
we'll see. I mean, like I said, I think that's going to be we kind of talked about the defense. Obviously that's, he's back there ball hawking.
Yep.
A lot. The corners obviously do their thing, but one of the things obviously back there that he brings is if that ball hangs up too much, the corner, corners are going to do their job. He's back there to ball hawk, make tackles, different things like that. But, obviously he changes the game where when you have a safety that can move, both sides of the ball in terms of one sideline to the other, he can be here and all of a sudden be there. That's a game changer. As a corner, you can be a little bit more aggressive, depending on obviously what your calls are. But, you can take a little bit more of a chance when you have a safety like that over the top, And I think that's definitely a game changer. But obviously he doesn't do it all by himself either. It's the D-line forcing forcing bad passes. It's the linebackers. Yeah. It's an overall. That's one thing that with the Lions, yes, they've got a couple of these awards, but they'll tell you, I was talking to Jake. It's funny. I actually was talking to Jake earlier in the week, and, we were talking about the awards and different things like that. He could care less about the award. Obviously, it's an accomplishment, but like a few of these guys have said, the award is great, but the award doesn't mean not that it doesn't mean anything, but most of these guys would rather have a championship as a team award championship over one of these. And I guarantee you that he would gladly say, hey, give me a championship, not the MVP.
Yeah, he's humble.
And I think that's a lot of these guys have said that, which is good. So congrats to him, and congrats obviously to the Lions for that, taking 2 out of the 3 awards there.
Yeah.
So shout out.
No, definitely. He's had a hell of a game or a season. So he's started strong. He's finishing strong. So. Congrats again, Jake, for that. Look forward to watching you play tomorrow. Just remember down and distance before you go get an interception. Things like that. Little things, but
still should have scored on that interception as well at the end of the game.
He's scared to get hit though.
I don't know. They had the flying.
I was teasing him about that.
They had the flying V out there in front of him.
And
he KP made. I think it was KP, I believe, that made the tackle. But he had made a great play, and then obviously got tired and tripped over KP. So.
Yep.
But no, shout-outs.
Cool, guys. We had a great show. Some things to sign off on here. Those of you guys that are still watching, I know the ones that like to hang out to the end, because that's when Matt drops the little nuggets of info that nobody else seems to want to listen to. So remember, if your season is over as a player, you are now a fan. Come through the fan gate, $5 to get in, buy tickets online. We're only allowing players, team staff, and league staff to be permitted on the field if you're wearing your colored wristband or your jersey. The thing we are going to do different this week is we are going to be able to open the home side gate to let the players out after the game instead of everybody hopping the fence. I was so waiting for someone to catch a shoelace or a pant string, bro. I was just waiting for somebody to biff it. But so that way we don't destroy the fence doing that. But, guys, please respect the field rules. As I've mentioned over the last couple of weeks, we're conditioning you for the next season. And we'll talk about that on June 6th. But there's a lot of stuff that's going to be getting put into place over tomorrow and next week too, that we move into the revamp of 2021. We are at Yonkers High School, Buckeye, 4 p.m., 7 p.m. Wade will be there for concessions, so we should be good to go. As I just mentioned, the internet worked today. I'm knocking on wood, crossing every body part I can that it works tomorrow. If it doesn't for some reason, we narrowed down to maybe why it's not, but Donovan was able to get on the internet today. About 5 o'clock he was out there. So hopefully we'll live stream that game for you guys. I think we might have some halftime stuff going on tomorrow, some interviews and some stuff. I bought some equipment, got here today, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. If not, we will have it all dialed in for the championship. And it's not 100% confirmed, but I did hear we might have a special guest for the championship game. High-profile NFL player will be visiting our game. So those of you guys that don't believe that we're making connections and dotting those I's and crossing the T's, things are starting to happen. So, cool. As usual, let's wrap it up. Any comments that we do need to address?
Now, the only one I wanted to go over kind of was what we talked about yesterday. Or not yesterday, just a second ago. So for those of you guys that come out to get taped and stuff like that, to come onto the field, you are going to be required to have your jersey on. There's not going to be any, I'm just coming out here to, no, you need to have your jersey on. I know last week, at times there was times where we missed that, and, it is what it is there.
We have a few more security this week, too.
Yeah, we'll
if they show up. But
you won't be allowed through the gate without your jersey, obviously, to come onto the field. Coaches, obviously, with the wristbands and whatnot. You know, and the only other thing, fellas, is the track. Please stay off the track. You know, whether it's in between plays, halftime.
I'm gonna pick on the Lions. They were the worst ones.
Yeah, I will say, you know, with the Lions, that was something, and it wasn't just the Lions; it was all
All
day.
of them, but I think
But
you know, the most players I saw was the Lions game, which was ironic because if you guys take your shoes off, your cleats, you can walk. Or I saw one guy put his slippers over his cleats.
Over the cleats.
Perfect. They don't want the cleat on the track. It's
So
not
just
you.
that's
Yeah, you can be on the track without the cleats.
that's just
the
a
key.
big thing. You know, obviously, I know on the other side of the field, there's the little mat that you walk across, which is what we have there. Just please stay off the track. That was one of the feedback that we got last week as well. Was, you know, there was other things, but, you know, staying off the track, and that's pretty much it, man. I mean, like I said, just you know, obviously, like we talked about, no Gatorade, no seeds. We did a really good job last week with that.
If it's not one thing, it's another, though, right?
Well, you know, we can't win for losing. I mean, you know, that's one that no matter what we do there, we do great here, and then something else happens, or we got parking lot nonsense, or, you know, there's something going on where we don't ever have one week where it's like there's nothing. We do great in 5 out of 6.
Yep.
You know, so
We'll work on it, though.
that's pretty much just my big thing. Like I said, we want to be able to continue to use facilities and stuff like that. And I know there was, you know, chatter throughout, and that's something where, you know, at the end of the day, we want to continue to use these. So just respect just respect that stuff, and we'll be fine.
It's a group collective.
Correct.
You know, when people say the league, it's all of us. It's not just you and me. It's not the broadcasters. It's the players, the fans, the staff. It's everybody. So, you know, if you guys, it's a dead horse, basically. We keep disrespecting facilities. I'm not going to let you back in the league because I'm just going to start pulling people out. Or B, we're going to lose our fields. So for me, it's always the league above all. So,
Hey, it is.
You know.
It is what it is. We'll get there. So
well, we're good. Excited about next Friday's show. Obviously, the championship game, and then the following, you know, the day after, might have a special guest. Maybe we'll bring somebody in from the winning team, whoever that may be, out of the next 4 that play tomorrow. You know, we got some things lined up for that show for some big announcements and stuff. Don't want to take away from anybody's games right now, so we'll wait till after the season.
yeah, we can chat about it. I was thinking maybe next Friday, maybe we bring in, you know, a player from each team, have them in here with us for a little bit.
Maybe. We got 4 mics.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Trying to figure out how we're going to set up the cameras, but actually we can do that. We got
be something that we can take a look at, you know, and obviously kind of go from there. So
Yep.
something to think about. We can chat through that and see what we got. But that's pretty much it, man. Other than that, just looking forward to good football tomorrow.
I'm excited. Last note, guys, of the 4 teams that are playing, you know, keep those emotions in check. You get ejected or disqualified, you know, you might be risking their potential championship game watching it on live TV from home. So keep that in mind. But, yeah, awesome, guys. Well, appreciate everybody tuning in. See you guys tomorrow. I'm not there, so please don't look for me. If you need anything, you contact Bush, Rob, Steven, or Raph. Signing off for the night. Till tomorrow. See you guys.